Hey, tonight we're going to finish off this 406 build we've been working on, or the short block, sorry, that we've been working on. We had a few delays. I had to get some X main bearings, and they were not all that easy to find. I needed a 10X bearing for 400 main. Yeah, that was a little bit tricky to find. So we had a bit of a delay there. So, well, let me show you where we're at with it. I can't remember where we left off last time. There was a video or two done between then and now. Unfortunately, I'm pretty good at losing files on the computer. So, let's see. The block's been line honed. The crank's been polished. I don't know if you can see it on there, but it's polished. We actually go at it with a polishing rouge. It's like chrome. It's smooth. We've hot tanked it, did the machine work, parallel decked it, bored it, torque plate honed it. We went in and we relieved all our drain oil holes and stuff like that. Took a bunch of the casting flash out, inside and outside, just to tidy it up a bit. It's not like a concourse restoration or anything like that. I've got the crank in it, and I got about maybe 3 pistons in it, and I thought, you know what? We're just going to do a quick video here on getting the rest of the pistons in, talking about a few little tips and whatnot. And, yeah. So one of the things I always do when I'm putting an engine together, and I highly recommend this with everybody if you're just starting out. I mean, I guess it's not that important if you're only going to build one engine, but if you think you're going to be building a few engines, get a few basic tools and whatnot. But establish a routine. Lay your parts out the same, mark them the same, and do all that kind of stuff. You know, a couple Sharpies can be your best friend. I think I mentioned in a previous video, but we'll go over it again. I always use 2 different colors of markers. Unfortunately, my red one was gone. I number them, their location, where they go. This one's 7. I have the balance weights on there left over from when I balanced it. And I also put a mark where the large chamfer is on the rod. Especially if you're putting new pistons on your rods, right? You got to be making sure that the front of the piston and the chamfer are on the right end. A little thing we can talk about right now also, and it will show up in our clean videos. You know, you take your rings out of your package, and you obviously you got to gap them. You got to make sure you got the right play and all that kind of stuff too. Wash your rings. The oily film that's on them is simply a preservative. It's not a lubricant. And they're quite gritty. You'd be surprised. Go get yourself a new package of rings, or next time you have a package, just take a rag with some Varsol or brake clean on and wipe them. You'd be surprised how dirty your rings are right from the manufacturer. Okay, so we're going to put some of these in. So the first thing I'm going to do here, I do it on a bench. I got a nice rag on the bench, but it's out of camera, so just get you that wrist pin oiled up really nice. Put it here and put it inside there and work that thing around really good. Get that oil everywhere in there. Okay. Forgot to put one bolt in. Okay, we'll do that. We'll cut that section out. Use an appropriate lube on there. Assembly grease. Mentioned before, you know, aside from your ring compressor and your torque wrench, these things can be your best friend. They really can. Save you nicking and damaging that crank and just all kinds of stuff like that. I know which piston to grab because I've numbered them previously. And they're going back where they came from. Well, the pistons ain't, but the rods are. We have our forward arrow. We double check to make sure nothing got put on backwards. We got our mark where our chamfer is. The chamfer goes at the back. We've done videos on that before. Okay, I'm back. I had grabbed the wrong piston there. Okay. So again, we're going to look at our arrow, make sure we're going the right way. We're going to check our chamfer, make sure it's correct. Double check that. Going to put our piston on the bottom, or our crankshaft, so the rod's on the throws on the bottom. Great little tip for you guys if you're rebuilding a small block Chevy anyways. And 1.25 inch box end wrench fits perfect on your crank, grabs the keyway perfect, and causes no wear on the keyway or nothing. Okay. We've oiled up our skirts. Our rings were previously gapped, obviously. We get our oil ring nice and lubricated. Put a little bit of oil in our ringland grooves and where the gap is. We put our ring gaps where the manufacturer suggests we put them. And we install our piston and rod assembly. Now there's many different kinds of ways to install ring compressors to install your piston. The one I'm using today. Got to make sure that it's all squared up. Put a little bit of pressure on it. Don't get crazy with the pressure. You're not going to be able to slide your piston in. Now, them two rubber hoses we put on them bolts are going to guide that right onto place. And they're going to protect the crank from the hard bolt surface so we don't get a nick in it. And you tap very gently because as you can see sometimes that little bit might hang up a bit. You don't want to damage your ring. And you know what? If it takes you a few tries, be gentle. Go slow. You're not being a flat rate mechanic here, so you know if it takes you don't force them. If it takes you a couple tries, so be it. So them rubber hoses now, they'll just guide that right into place. Reach down, make sure that our rod is not at an angle. Push it onto place. The rubber hose is going to stop us from nicking the crank. Going to guide it right in. We've assembly lubed our gap in our bearing. Another great tool when you're installing your pistons, if you have an old rod, take an old rod, it's a soft bearing to go in there so you don't do any damage. Put a couple pieces of little hose on it. When you're tightening up your rod, and you only got one rod, one side on the crank throw, you take a rod, the tool you made out of that, and you just slide it down in there where the other rod would be, and then you tighten up your. This saves you from going back and forth from side to side, turning your stand, putting the piston in, turning your stand. You can put them all in, turning your engine, not your stand. So you can put them all in on one side, put this on here so you don't twist the rod on the crank, and then unseat the bearing. And this will hold it while you tighten her up. Snug them down. And now you can turn over, turn your engine on the stand, and you can do all the pistons on this bank. This saves you switching it back, moving it back and forth all the time. So make your own little tool out of an old connecting rod. Okay, on to number 8. Okay. Same thing again. We've oiled our pin. We've lubed our bearing. We've already got the lube on our bolt. Put a little oil on our skirts. Our piston, got to put a little rod bolt protectors on. Okay. Arrow to the front. On this side the chamfer goes to the front. Yeah, the chamfer goes to the back on this side. Sorry, I thought I had it mixed up. Thought I put the rod on backwards there for a while. Always a nice just a second, I don't know what you call it, just another way of checking, one more way to make sure you put it on straight, I suppose, or not backwards. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself. Oil up, get some oil in our oil rings. Get some oil in our ring grooves. Turn them rings around, get that all worked in there really nice like. Put our gaps where we want them. Put our piston. Whatever it is you're using for a tool to install your piston, make sure it's square and seated against the block, or else your little rings will pop out and they'll grab the edge and you'll damage your rings. Very light, gentle little taps. Because if that ring comes out, you don't want to damage it. By come out, I mean if the ring, if this lifts up, especially your thin oil ring, if it gets in between here and the deck of the block, and if you're tapping on it hard, you'll damage that ring. So